Hello, in this video I'd like to show you how to make Windows speech recognition macros for StarCitizen. So to get started, open up your control panel and look for the speech recognition. Now I know speech recognition comes with Windows Vista, Windows 7, and Windows 8. I'm not sure if it comes with Windows XP or if Windows XP supports it, but I think it does. So go ahead and click on that. And you can start up the program right now just by clicking Start Speech Recognition. You might need to set up your microphone. It's very straightforward. So a little window will pop up here showing you that the program started. Now the second thing you'll need is the Windows Speech Recognition macro program. And that's available to download here for free from Microsoft. It says it's for Windows Vista, works fine for Windows 7, Windows 8. And just download that and install it. After you've done that, it'll most likely pop up on your drop-down menu from your start. And when you start it, you'll hear a ding saying it started. And you'll just go down here, double-click it, and it gives you 5 options. And the 2 options I'm going to be focusing on in this video are the Send Keystrokes and Advanced. So to start, I'm going to go to Send Keystrokes. Give it a second to start. As you can see, the speech recognition is listening to everything I'm saying, waiting for me to say a keyword to start it. I did click on that, it's just not opening. And to interact with the speech recognition program, you should be able to just right-click on it, and it'll start up. And once you right-click on it, this little menu will come down here, which you can interact with it. But now that the keystrokes menu has popped up, there are 2 lines here to enter in. The first is just the command that you're going to be using. So for instance, if we wanted to make, for example, a very simple macro, lights, to toggle the lights on the spaceship, first you just enter in lights, or you can say it, but for the sake of the example, we'll just type it in. The voice recognition program will recognize it when you say lights. And then we have to find out what is the corresponding keystroke for toggling the lights. So to do that, we go to the shortcuts for StarCitizen. And at the moment, for Arena Commander, this is what they are. They will be adding more functions and actions in the future. I'm sure they will be. But at this current state, this is what it is. So for the lights, you can zoom in here and see to toggle lights, it is the O key. So we'll enter O, hit next, and then once we're done we'll hit create. And occasionally when you hit create, you'll come up with an error. This time I didn't because I have the certificate set up. And hit close, and if you get an error, you can go down here, right click on the macros program, go to security and create signing certificate, go through this, hit OK, there. Or there might be some way around having to make a certificate. I'm not really sure, but that's what I did to get around it. So we have a macro now for lights. So all it does is when I say lights, the speech recognition will recognize that and then hit the O key, which generally in Windows is useless, but for StarCitizen, it'll toggle our lights. So let's check it out. Alright, here I am. I'm looking at a dark surface so we can better see the lights turn on. Let's get to a better view here. I'm going to start the speech recognition program. Start listening. Start listening. Lights. Lights. Sleep. You can see there the speech recognition program isn't always responsive. Most of the time it has been. I've noticed while I'm recording it has more delays and kind of freezes up, but in general it works pretty well. So that's an example of a very simple macro. And then for more complicated macros, for instance controlling the shields, which I have a macro for here, start listening, start listening, shields back,
power to back shield,
sleep. As you can see, they just transferred power to my back shields. You can see them growing there. start listening, start listening, shields, sleep. So you can see the shields, so all the shields are going into the back there. And in order to make that macro, what I did was I edited an XML file right here, and it's pretty basic. All I did was, for the rear shields, what you'd normally do by hand, you just hold down the right control button and tap the 2 on the numpad. And you have to usually tap it a few times to transfer a lot of power into the back shields. So all I did here, as you can see, is when I say shields back, it just starts slamming that key a whole bunch of times. Now, I don't think the program isn't reading each one of these keystrokes because they're coming too fast. And you can put a delay in there so each keystroke actually matters, but I kind of sloppily just made this program really quickly. And to say something, it says power to back shield. This is how you'd say something. Now, for a more complicated action, like transferring power into weapons or shields or engines or something, I'll demonstrate how that works. Start listening. Give weapons.
Power to weapons.
Sleep. As you can see, it transferred all the power into the weapons there. It's kind of a trickier thing. There's no presets or easy keystrokes or any built-in macros in order to do that. So what I actually have to do is when I say that, it does several keystrokes on the keyboard in order to activate it, which I'll show you the program that does that. Now let me balance out the power. Start listening. Start listening. Take weapons.
Power balanced.
Sleep. Yeah, the keywords I use to activate the different commands aren't the best, but I just chose short words to say more quickly. It's kind of the goal of that. So the program I use to do that is escape from here. I'll show you over here. It's significantly longer because I actually used the wait times, so each keystroke matters. You kind of have to do that for that. So all I did was these several keystrokes right here are just to choose the power triangle, and then the rest of the keystrokes are then to move that little circle in the triangle to its proper position. And if there's latency or lag, this can kind of follow up because it's not a very good way of doing it, but right now it's the only available way. And the way I kind of know it's the only available way is if you go to the there's this file called default profile you can go through. If you go into, I'll leave where it is in the directories and the details for the video. But once you find it here, you'll need a program like winzip because it's a .pak file like for CryEngine, and you'll be able to edit this and going through here. I looked all the way through here. I couldn't find any other easier way of transferring power around. You just have to do with keystrokes. There's some other commands in here that that talk about power and diverting power to different systems, but I can't find the keys or insert keys that make them work or something. I don't know what it is. Some things require flight avionics or require... I'm sure these are future things they're going to add. They're going to add the functionality in order to make it much simpler and have more voice control, I'm sure. So when I have the code like this, what I do in order to use it is, or to make an actual macro for it, is I'd open up the macro program again, go to Advanced, and here it'll actually give you a little window where you can enter in things. And you can see this is what I have: speech macros, command, and then you can copy and paste all this into here, hit next, and make a macro just like you did before with the lights. Now embarrassingly, I don't know where I can anonymously upload these files, all these macros. I have a bunch of macros. You see them listed here. I believe there's 18 macros here, just controlling the various shields and power systems and lights. So I focused on making macros for things I didn't want to actually go to the keyboard for, because I use the Xbox controller myself. I like that. That's what I prefer to fly with. And I don't want to go to my keyboard to tight hit anything, so I just tried to make voice macros so I wouldn't have to go and do that. I think there's a lot of multitasking that voice speech recognition opens up, and I'll describe in my forum post more about that. So I hope this was interesting, and you maybe learned something, maybe make your own macros, open up new strategies for the game. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the verse.